Alright, welcome back, guys. This is Professor Rodan with Explorations in Mathematics, Section 2.3, Venn Diagrams and Set Operations. So far in Chapter 2, we've been studying sets, set concepts at 2.1, and subsets in 2.2. So now we're going to see some visual representations of these sets. Reading from page 54, it says a useful technique for illustrating set relationships is the Venn diagram, named for English mathematician John Venn from 1834 to 1923. So basically, this guy invented the diagrams I'm about to show you. You've probably seen it before, but it started back in 1881. And so his most popular set is the overlapping sets. Okay, what does that look like? Well, it has 4 regions, and it looks like this. You got this universal set, which we'll call U. Alright, so that represents the big rectangle, and then within that rectangle we have 2 subsets. Let's say subset A and subset B is going to overlap. That means there's going to be some things in common with subset A and subset B. Just a second. Let me fix this. Subset B. Okay. All right. So the 4 regions that are created is basically region 1, right there, only in set A, not shared in set B. Region 2, you have set A shared with set B. Okay, what they have in common. Region 3 is only set B, nothing shared with any with set A. And then you have the last set, which is set 4, and this set is neither in A or B, but it's still part of the universal set. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1 here. You have some letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Those letters represent the universal set. Okay, so that's everything in the rectangular box. But we have set A is A, B, C, and D. Just a second. So right here is the universal set. Set B is, or set A is A, B, C, D. And set B is C, D, E, F. Okay? Now, so let's go ahead and put this in a Venn diagram. Okay? Okay, so set A is right here. Set B is right here. So set A, you can see has A, B, C, D, and B has C, D, E, F. There's some things in common. So where you want to start, okay, so start with common elements. Okay. So A and B, what do they have in common? They have C and D. Okay, right there. So they both have C and D. That means they need to go into region 2. So you always start in the middle. That's what they have in common. Now, as you can see, set A only has A and B, or has A and B exclusive to set A, so that's going to go over here. And then set B has E and F exclusive to set B, so that's going to go over here. And then we got to see what's not included in either set. So if we go back to U, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and it stops right there. So basically, these two right here is in region 4. Okay, so G and H are only in set U. Okay, so set U, it's not an A or B, so we're going to put it in region 4. So that G and H are going to come out here. Okay, so now we have the next concept, which is the complement of a set. So the complement of a set is basically it's all the elements in set U that's in the rectangular box, the rectangular box there, that are not in set A. Okay? So, what regions are not in A? So if you look at the general Venn diagram on the right, we have regions 1 and 2 that are in A, but we have regions 3 and 4 that's not in A. Okay? So we're going to write down all the elements in region 3 and 4. Okay, so that's in B only, that's EF. And then region 4 is outside the two circles, G and H. Okay, so all the elements in U that are not in set A, which is regions 3 and 4. And then we go ahead and write those elements down. Alright, same thing with B. So this is called A complement, and now this one's called B complement. So all the elements in U that are not in set B. So what two regions are those? If you look at the general Venn diagram, it's region 1, which is only in A, and region 4, that of course is in neither set A or B. So regions 1 and 4, alright, so what are the elements or the letters in region 1? That's A and B, and G and H in roster form. Okay? Okay, so next, so that's the complement of a set. So now we have the concept of the intersection. So the intersection of A and B. So the intersection is basically all the elements that are common to A and B. Okay, keyword being and. Okay. So what what region would be the region that shows the elements that they have in common? Well, that's that overlapping region, which is region 2. Okay, region 2 is going to be our overlapping region, or what they have in common. So another way to look at this is to so we got this, and so another way to look at this is to say, okay, and this is kind of the formal, sort of the long way to do it. You could probably do this, mental math or in your head, but formally we can say, hey, set A only has region 1 and 2. Intersection, that's this upside down U symbol. Region B is 2 and 3. This is sort of like the proof of what I just said, that it's region 2. So if you look at, okay, the intersection means what they have in common. What do these two sets have in common? Well, they both have region 2. Okay? So they both have region 2. There, I just proved it. And now we got to do is write down the elements in roster form of region 2, which is C and D. Okay? Well, I better leave this open. Okay, the next one. So that's the basic idea of intersection. Now we're going to apply that with a complement and an intersection. So we have A complement intersection B, or the intersection of A complement and B. There's another way you can say that. So all the elements in U that are not in A and are in common with B. That sounds kind of confusing. So why don't we do the formal way of expressing each of these? So we're going to take a look at the complement of A. So the complement of A, we already said the regions not in A is region 3 and region 4. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and list region B, which we already know is 2 and 3. And so we're looking for what they have in common. So if you look, they both have region 3 in common. Okay? So that can kind of clear up any confusion if you just list the regions for each side of this problem, and then if the question is what do they have in common, just circle it and then look at your diagram and write down the elements in region 3. Whoops. So we're looking at 3 here, which is E and F. Okay? Alright. Let's take a look at the intersection of A complement and B complement. Alright, same process. So why don't you try, let me get you started here. You want to go ahead and try this on your own. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and you want to go ahead and write down the regions in A complement, and the regions in B complement, and then figure out what they have in common. Alright, so I'll be with you in a few minutes. Go ahead and press pause. Okay, so you should have gotten region 4, which is G and H. So if we take a look at that, A complement is 3 and 4, B complement is 1 and 4. What do they have in common? What do those two sets have in common? Is 4, region 4. So you write down everything in region 4. Okay. Now let's go to the next concept, which is the union. So here we have the union. So the union, okay, in this case, I want to point out that we're going to include all regions, but don't repeat regions. Okay, so let's see what that means. Okay, so the union of A and B, and that's that U symbol, is basically all the elements that are members of set A or set B. So if it's either or, that means we're talking about both sets. Both sets qualify. Okay? Just remember, no repeats. Okay? So the repeat is going to come in the region that overlaps. Okay, so let's take a look at the breakdown of this. So you have set A, we know is 1 and 2. Set B, we know is 2 and 3. Okay. Now, so this is not the intersection. Intersection, we looked at what do they have in common. In this case, would be region 2. But we're looking at the union. So the key thing is look at all regions, but don't repeat anything. Okay? So all regions is going to include 1, 2, 2, and 3. That's every region listed in that scenario. But remember, I said no repeats. So we're going to rewrite this as one region. Those 2 repeats, you can only write it once. So this is actually going to be 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So all you're going to do is look at all the elements in 1, 2, and 3. That's basically in both circles. A, B, C, D, E, and F. Those 6 letters are in both circles. Okay, but we're not going to repeat the C and the D. We're just going to write it once. So all the regions are here except for region 4. A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay. So this is called the union. It includes everyone, but it does not repeat anything. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at an application here with this complement business again. So we want to do the breakdown. What's the complement of A? Okay, we've already listed this before. It's 3 and 4. This is what's not in A. Union with what's not in B, which is 1 and 4. Okay. So we want to list all the regions in this scenario, but do not repeat any. So I'm going to start with the smallest. So we got 1, region 1, region 2 is not there, so it's 3, and region 4 it's twice, but we're going to write it once. Okay, so what we're going to do is look at those 3 regions and write down all the letters. So basically, if you look back at your list, you got A, B, E, F, G, and H. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at, actually, see if you can do number 9. Okay? Let me get you started. So, what's the union of A and B? We already answered that above, number 7, so we know that's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And the complement of that. Okay, what do you think that is? Alright, so stop the video and see how you do. Alright, so you should have gotten region 4. That's the only region that's not in, that's not included in 1, 2, and 3. It's region 4. And region 4 happens to be G and H. Okay? Alright, now we're gonna take a look at some questions from the textbook. Alright, so let's dig into over here on page, it's actually 62, number 18. So number 18 says, for the sets U, A, and B, construct a Venn diagram and place the elements in the proper regions. Okay. So we're going to use overlapping sets, and we're going to take a look at the universal sets are national parks. So Acadia, Badlands, Death Valley, Glacier, Mammoth Cave, Mount Rainier, North Cascades, Shenandoah, Yellowstone, and Zion. That's the universal set. So those all should be in the box. However, we do need to take a look at what set A and B have in common. So set A is Acadia, Badlands, Glacier, Mount Rainier, Yellowstone. Set B is Death Valley, Glacier, Mammoth Cave, Mount Rainier, and Zion. Okay, so there's 2. I'm going to abbreviate here. Actually, let me see. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm going to abbreviate. So what set A and B have in common is basically Glacier. I'm going to say that's G, and Mount Rainier, MR. Okay. And then what's only in set A but not in set B. So we got Acadia, Badlands, and Yellowstone. And then what's in set B but not in set A, that goes in region 3. So that's Death Valley, Mammoth Cave, and Zion. Now, what national parks did we not mention at all in A or B? That would be North Cascades and Shenandoah. Okay? So that's basically the Venn diagram for number 18. Okay, so let's take a look at another question here. Let's say 28. 28, it says, describe each of the following sets in words. And here's the set. Okay. So in other words, do you know how to read this? Okay. And actually, the definitions come from in the previous column. It says U is cities in the US. A would be cities with professional sports, and set B would be cities that have a symphony. Okay, so set A, this is called set A, union B complement. So the union of A and B complement. So this would be a set of cities in the US okay, that have a professional sports team, okay, and then because of the union, this right here is going to be or. So or, and then the complement of B, which is symphonies. So or do not have a symphony. Okay, so I got this from the not, or from the U, and then whatever those sets represent. Okay. Next we have 36. 36, we have a Venn diagram. Looks like this. So the question for 36 is, what is set B? And set B is going to be everything in that circle. This is A, this is B, this is U. So, the entire circle for B. So 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay. Another question would be number 42. So 42 is the same diagram, but it says, what is the intersection of A and B with, and then the complement of that? All right. So, oh, by the way, where did I get these from? It's everything in the circle for B, and if you want to do it in terms of regions, I forgot to write down it's region 2 and region 3. Okay, that's where I got those letters from, 2 and 3. Now, again, you can do this just by looking at the diagram, writing the answer down. You don't have to do all the steps I'm going to do, but I do like to break this down for people who are, it takes a little time to catch on to all these letters and diagrams and symbols. So, let me use red. So we're going to do, Okay, what is set A? Actually, we're kind of past the intersection. So intersection of A and B is what they have in common. So intersection of A and B will be region 2. Okay. So basically, what's everything but region 2? Okay. So the complement region 2 is all the other 3 regions. Region 1, 3, and 4, which would be region 1, W, C, B, T. Region 3, F, V, G, R, D. And region 4, which is outside, is P, M, and Z. Okay, so that is number 36. Okay, I said 36, but I meant to say 42. Okay, so the answer to 42 is right here. And 36 was right here. Okay? Okay, so if you're doing this visually just by looking at the Venn diagram and not using the region, that's fine. You don't have to do all this work and show any work. But if you need a breakdown, you need to see step by step, then you want to do it the way I'm doing it with the regions written down. Okay, so once you end up with regions as your final answer, then you just go back to the Venn diagram and copy down the elements in those regions. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to number 60. Number 60. Okay, so first of all, the setup we have okay, 1 through 8, natural numbers. Then we have A, which is 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. B is 2, 3, 5, and 6. So the question for 60 and 62 that we're going to do, so let me erase this part. So 60 says this. It's a little challenge here. The union of A and B with the intersection of the union of A and B complements. Okay. So again, writing down step by step, the regions will come in handy, especially when you get to problems like this. All right. So let's. So actually, you can do the union. We know from our notes on the previous page that the union is of 2 sets is all the regions in that set without repeating any. So we've already seen that the answer to the union of A and B is region 1, 2, and 3. Let me go ahead and just remind you of those regions. 1, 2, 3, and here's 4. So the union would be all 3, because this is OR. So we can go ahead and answer the left side of this intersection, which is the union of A and B is 1, 2, and 3. Now, what is the other side? Well, the other side is the complement of the union. And the complement of the union means not the union. So whatever we just wrote down, what's the other region that's not included? That's region 4. Okay, so remember, the intersection upside down U means, so this is intersection. Here is union. Here is union. So the intersection means what they have in common. And they have nothing in common. So the elements or the regions they have in common would be empty, okay? There are none. There are no elements to list. So this is called the empty set, all right? Or basically no solution. All right, let's go to 62, which is another long one, or sort of. Okay, we've answered the... So remember, this union means, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So we've answered the complement of A. It's on the other page. So A is regions 1 and 2. So the complement of that would be 3 and 4. And then the intersection of A and B, we've already seen as well. What they have in common would be the overlap, which is region 2. So the union, this means union, and it means all but no repeats. So what do we have? We have 2, 3, and 4. All right, so what are the elements in those regions? All right. So you can do this without doing a Venn diagram. It's a little bit tricky without the Venn diagram as far as with the numbers in there. You're more than welcome to do every problem with a Venn diagram. But I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, region 2 we know is what A and B have in common. So we go back to our list. So just using the list and not the Venn diagram, we can say, okay, they have a 2 in common and they have a 5 in common. So that's going to be region 2. Region 3 is what's exclusive to set B. Okay, well, set B has a 3 and a 6. Okay, right there. That's exclusive to B. And then region 4 is the numbers that are not included in A or B, but it's in U. Okay, so A has 1, so I can go ahead and count. Okay, 1, 2 is taken. 1 is taken up. 2 is taken up. 3, that's set B. 4, that's set A. 5, that's both. 6, that's set B. 7 is also set A. So the only one that's not included in either one of those, without using the diagram, would be 8. Okay, so you can do these problems without looking at the Venn diagram. Just remembering what the regions mean. Okay, and there's probably a couple other ways you can do this as well, but this is the way that I'm showing you here. You're more than welcome to look at the videos from the textbook publisher to see more variety, okay? All right, well, let's go to 69 and 71. So 69 has a lot more stuff in here. So let me take this out and let's go ahead and do, so set U. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this and come back with this information. All right, so number 69, here's all the information. Universal set A through K, and then we have set A, B, and C with various elements in there. So, or subsets. Those are all subsets of the U. And this has 3 sets, and we haven't learned how to set this up yet. That's in the next section, 2.4. So visually speaking, I wouldn't do it yet. We'll be able to do this in 2.4, but we can work with the elements and the definitions of the various concepts, okay, just by looking at the list. All right, going to be a lot of crossing out here. So number 69 says the intersection of A and B union C. Okay, so while looking at these concepts, we're going to look at the list above the given information. So we have the intersection of A and B. In other words, what does A and B have in common? Okay, so that's what this is asking for right here. What do those two have in common? Well, we look and we see they have C, D, actually all of this right here. So C, D, F, and G. Okay, that's what these two sets have in common. So we're going to write the elements in here. C, D, F, and G. Okay. Union. Now, all we got to do, there's no operational here for the right side. It's just write down what set C is. Well, set C is A, B, F, I, and J. Just copying from the list. Okay. So this we just copy or rewrite. Okay. Now, union means all, no repeats. So there's a lot to keep track of. So we're going to say our final answer is going to be everything in both sides, the left and the right side, but don't repeat anything. So we're going to start alphabetical order. Let's see, do we have an A? Yes, right there. Do we have a B? Yes, right there. How about a C? Yep, right over here on the left. How about a D? Yep. How about an A, B, C, D, E? No E. Sorry. I jumped ahead of myself there. So there's no E, but there is an F right here. Actually, both have F. Since they both have F, we're not going to write them both times or twice. We're going to just write them once. But we can cross them out twice. And so A, B, C, D, E, F. Next is G. Is there a G? Yes. The left side has it. Is there an H? No. Is there an I? Yes. Is there a J? Yes. Is there a K? No. Okay. So that's kind of how you deal with these concepts one piece at a time, looking at the list, applying what you know. Number 71 is going to be a little bit longer. So 71 is A complement U, C, union set C, and then the union of the intersection of A and B. Now, I'm gonna need some room here, so let me move this a little bit to the left. Okay, so we're gonna start with the left side. Okay, so the left side is gonna be, we're gonna do one piece at a time. So we're gonna have to do A complement over here and C over here. Okay. So which one's the easier of the two? Well, C, you're just gonna copy down. So that one's easier. So C is gonna be A, B, F, I, and J. That's C. And then A complement is a little trickier. We need to look at whatever is not an A. So we're just gonna have to read off A and write down whatever is not included. So remember, A through K is the universal set. So set A has an A, so we're not gonna write A. It does not have a B, so we're gonna write B. Set A has a C, so we can't write that. It has a D, but it does not have an E, so we're going to write E. It has an F, it has a G, but it doesn't have an H. It has an I, but it doesn't have a J or a K. So that is the complement of A, whatever is not in A. Okay, so the complement of A, and then we copy down C. Now, the union of those two is, remember, all but no repeats. All right, so we're gonna have to basically copy down all the letters that we read off here. I'm gonna start with A and go in alphabetical order. So I have an A right there, and I have a B in both. So we're gonna write it once. So that's A, B, where's the C? No C, so no C. D, there's no D. How about an E? Yes, there's an E right there. How about an F? Yep, right there. How about a G? No G. How about an H? Yep, on the left side. How about an I? Yes. Whoops. It's on the right side. How about a J? Yep, on the right side. Actually, both have J, and then K is on the left side. All right. So you have A, B, E, F, H, I, J, and K. So the union, so that's all the left side. Now the right side is the intersection, right? Common between A and B. So what's common between A and B? We're gonna go to the list and just write those down. Actually, we did that in number 69, right? And it's actually, I already have it circled. So basically, it's gonna be C, D, F, and G. All right. So again, union over here. Union means all, but no repeats. All right, that means we're gonna have to read every single letter, write it down alphabetical order, and leave out whatever is not included. So, let's start with A. Is there an A? Yes, right here on the left. Is there a B? Yes, here. Is there a C? Yep, right there. Is there a D? Yep. How about an E? Yep, on the left. How about an F? Is in both. How about a G? Yep, on the right. How about an H? Yes, on the left. How about an I? Yep, on the left. J on the left, and K. So if you take a look at this answer, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, that's actually the whole universal set. So basically, this big old problem ended up being all the elements, so we can actually just write U if we want, okay? Set U. All right. So let's do about 3 more problems here. And let's take a look at number 87. All right, but before we do that, we need to write down the information. So let me pause it. Okay, so we got some interesting information here. We have some stuff from 2.1, set builder notation, natural numbers and inequalities, stuff like that. So we need to go ahead and define these in roster form. So the set of all x such that, so the set of all x such that x is an element of the natural number system, which is one starting at 1, and it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth, and it has to be less than 10. So the last number would be a 9. Okay, and you just keep reading this. We've got odd, even, and less than 6. So let's go ahead and you should be able to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and you should be able to fill this in roster form yourself and see how you do in a few minutes. All right, so this is what I got for the roster forms of set U, A, B, and C. We got, they're all natural numbers starting at 1, and less than 10 will be 1 through 9. Odd and less than 10 will be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Even less than 10 is 2, 4, 6, 8. And less than 6 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So the question is, in number 87, determine the following: A union C intersection B. All right. So A. So we can look over here and say, okay, what do A and C have in, I'm sorry, not have in common, but what are all the elements in A and C together with no repeats? Okay, fair enough. So all the elements in A and C, no repeats. So we know it's at least 1 through 9. That's the universal set. So let's just start counting off. All right, A. Let's take a look at A and C, which is here and here. So is there a 1? Yes. How about a 2? Yes. It's in C. How about a 3? Well, C is actually 1 through 5. So we can go ahead and just, all right, 1 through 5. And is there a 6 in A? Nope. Is there a 7 in A? Yes. Is there a 9 in A? Yes. And that is the combination of A and C with no repeats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. Now, the intersection of B we just copy. So B is our even number. So 2, 4, 6, and 8. So now all we have to do is say, okay, what do these two sides have in common? What can we see that they have in common? Well, B is all even. All right? Aren't these all even numbers? So 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's our 2, there's our 4, and that is it. There is no 6, there is no 8. So the final answer is going to be, oops, I forgot to circle the right side. There we go. So the final answer is going to be 2 and 4. Okay? Okay, so how about you try 90 and see how you do. This one is going to be tricky. Okay? And I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, so hopefully you got the elements 2 and 4. Actually, it's the same result as number 87 that we did together. But basically, this is how you break it down. And on the right side, it's kind of strange because A is odd and B is even. Well, they have even and odd numbers don't have anything in common. So that's the empty set. But when you unite that with 2 and 4, you just still get 2 and 4. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and go to our last question, which is a word problem, and that'll be it. All right, so for number 94, we're going to take a look at this word problem. It says, student council intramurals at Madison High School. 46 students participated in student council or intramurals. 30 participated in student council, and 4 participated in student council and intramurals. How many students participated only in intramurals? All right. So let's take a look at this again. So 46 participated in student councils or intramurals. 30 participated in student council, okay, and 4 participated in student council and intramural, okay. So as we do our Venn diagram, okay, so this is student council, and then this is intramurals, okay. So it says that you always want to start with the intersection. So 4 participated in both student council and intramurals, so that would be 4, okay. And then 30 participated in student council. Okay, so 4 participated in student council and intramural, so that 4 goes in the middle. And then the next clue is the 30. The 30 participated in student council. That's the left circle. So the left circle should be 30. Well, we already have 4 in the left circle, so that means we need 26 in region 1 to be to have a total of 30 for student council. Okay, then we have so the question is how many students participated only in intramural. So that means this number right here. Okay, well, we got to use the other clue, which was the 46 participated in student council or intramurals. So basically, in all three regions, you have 46. Okay? So in order to get the third region, you just got to subtract so subtract 26, and we're going to get 20. Okay? So 20 would go over here. Okay. It's a little confusing. Wasn't the greatest example. 93 is better. That's actually in your homework. Actually, we're going to be doing this more in the next section anyways. Before we do 3 sets, we got to practice more of these with 2 sets. So in 2.4, you'll get more clarification on this problem. All right, see you in the next video.